HollyAnn Freso-Moore. She's the principal of the Carlos Rosario Charter School, the Harvard Street campus here in Washington, D.C. And she really has a powerful message about how wraparound services and all of the services that our programs provide enable our learners to succeed. So HollyAnn, we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much. And I am just quaking in my shoes following up after all of these wonderful panelists. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the amazing adult learners here in Washington, D.C. and the inspiring educators as well. I also want to thank NCL, Value Village, Martha's Table. We work with y'all too, and all of my colleagues on this panel. It's good to see you, Kim. My name is HollyAnn Freso-Moore, as we said, and I'm the principal of the Harvard Street campus of Carlos Rosario, which is backdropped behind me here. This is my 7th year as principal, but I began at our school in 2001 and spent so much of my time in the classroom with students, which was absolutely my favorite place to be. I've dedicated my entire career to serving adult students. And like so many of us, I think a hallmark of adult educators is that we're lifelong learners. So I'll be graduating in May with my doctorate as well in educational and organizational leadership. And my dissertation focuses on the central importance, and Rachel and Carlos, you both touched on this, of that teacher-student relationship and the programmatic supports that affect adult learning persistence. In 1998, the Carlos Rosario Public Charter School became the first adult charter school in the entire nation. Today, our school serves 2,500 students annually across our 2 campuses. Our students range in age from 60 to 80 years old, but the majority of our students fall between the ages of 25 and 45. Our students come from 80 countries and speak more than 30 languages. And in addition to improving their English language skills, our students earn their high school diplomas, develop digital literacy skills, prepare to become naturalized citizens, and enter into our workforce development programs in culinary arts, nurse aid training, bilingual teaching assistant training, and IT fundamentals. If there was ever a question about the importance of adult education and why it matters, I think the COVID pandemic would be the answer to that. DC's adult charter schools serve the communities that have been most impacted by the devastating effects of this pandemic. Our students are the frontline workers in healthcare and food services and often have to live in very close quarters due to the high lack digital access. The impact of COVID-19 on individuals without a high school diploma here in Washington, D.C. has been staggering. In April of 2020, the unemployment rate for those 25 years or older without a high school diploma was 21%, as opposed to those with a high school diploma at 17%. And for those with a college degree, it was 8%. So you can see right there what it means to have basic literacy of a high school diploma. I think much of the country understands the impact this pandemic has had on the K-12 school system, and I think even on colleges to some extent, but adult education has been largely absent from the national conversations about resource allocation. And I also think that the significant role that our programs and our schools have played so far in keeping our communities safe have not been adequately acknowledged or highlighted. Comprehensive student services are the hallmark of a quality adult education program, and they are expensive, as Kim reminded us, but they are necessary, as Rachel also touched on, and Carlos as well. Our student services department at Carlos Rosario really keeps its finger on the pulse of the well-being of the whole student. And they help our students, and not just our students, but by extension, their families and our community members, to navigate and access local resources. Because we have already so many relationships developed with our network of providers, we were best positioned to leverage these resources efficiently and effectively during this crisis. For the past year, my school has seen an increase of about 30% in students seeking assistance from the Student Services Department, and that's despite being at distance. The support has been around affordable housing, employment assistance, as well as unemployment benefit assistance, food insecurity, and healthcare. Those have been among the most requested services. Because of the relationships we develop with our learners, we're considered a trusted source of information and a vital resource to them. Besides the individual student needs, the department also proactively accesses partnerships that we have with organizations and agencies to bring into the school vital information directly to them. Examples of these kinds of partnerships are initiatives like police workshops virtually, parent town halls for ELL parents who are having trouble understanding what is going on right now in education, virtual consultations to support students in applying for citizenship. And we have an upcoming vaccine town hall where we'll be featuring some of the Department of Health personnel to really give clear, consistent, important, and accurate information. Each of these initiatives were designed as a specific response to the patterns of request that the department sees from individual students. For a real concrete example, I think we've all read about the increased threat of abuse for domestic violence victims during lockdown. And our programs see those trends up close before you start reading about them in the paper. And they're able to respond with tangible supports like a police workshop where students are able to seek help and speak with police officers in their native language. Adult learners in our programs know that these life-saving resources are just a phone call away. And this protects our adults, and it also protects our children. Touching back on this idea that Carlos started with, adult education programs are helping to narrow the achievement gap for children. That's the argument, right? The interconnectivity Kim was talking about. Adult education charter schools are directly connected to families caught in that widening divide. Approximately 50% of DC's adult learners are parents of school-age children, and 90% of them live below the poverty line. Opportunity gaps begin for children as early as preschool, but as parents improve their educational levels, children's academic achievement improves as well. And research also tells us that when mothers complete additional education, their children show improved language and reading skills as well as academic achievement. Our programs directly prepare adult learners to support their children in this new educational landscape, from navigating online learning platforms and building learning routines at home to accessing essential resources in this virtual environment. And our partnerships with DCPS's K-12 schools, that network has just grown considerably over the last year and ensures that critical information is reaching our city's families, who are often positioned furthest from the tables where these decisions are being made. An investment in adults has a measurable return. That's always the question. What's the return on investment? What's the return on investment? Because education is not enough when it comes to adults, right, Kim? After earning their high school diplomas, an adult can typically earn about $10,000 more per year. This means that for every 400 adults who earn their high school diploma, the United States earns about $2.5 billion back in tax revenues and reduced expenses. So there's your return on investment. Adult education graduates are our country's workforce. They are the assistant teachers in your child's classroom. They are the restaurant owners and managers in your favorite restaurants. They are the nurse aides standing by the bedsides in hospitals where COVID patients are dying. By amplifying the impact of adult education in our nation and providing vital support to our organizations, our country will emerge from this crisis better and stronger than before. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share a little bit about the critical role that each of us is playing in what sometimes feels like an invisible role of adult education in supporting our most disadvantaged communities.
Thank you, HollyAnn. That's so powerful, and especially what you're saying about the role of parents in promoting their children's education and then lifting themselves up. That's such an important point that our programs make possible. You give me hope that perhaps we really will come out of this pandemic, first of all, and that we will come out of it stronger and better, and maybe with greater awareness across the country of the importance of adult education. That's what I would really hope for.